Hey everybody, it's Onorato and Miller. Good to be back with you. If you're watching us on Thursday night, we are going to give you the latest on the parade shooting, the Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl parade shooting. One person dead, 22 injured, and more details to come on that. So a sad way, certainly, to start the show. We've got a couple of guests on this week's show. Albany FireWolves face-off man Joe Nardella plays defense for them as well, and the head coach from the Adirondack Thunder, Pete MacArthur. Two teams playing really, really well, and two teams that will be home this weekend. Get out and see those really good Capital Region squads. Joseph Girard III collects some hardware in the ACC as Clemson beats North Carolina and Syracuse, and then Miami on the other side of that. So the Tigers are playing well. Interesting rumor from NBA trade deadline talks. Betting way up at the Genesis thanks to Tiger Woods. Got a lot on this week's show. Let's get going. We'll recap Super Bowl 58 as well.
This is Onorato and Miller, sponsored by Alpen House.
Okay, here we go. Chris Onorato with you here on Onorato and Miller. We'll take you inside the Alpen House ski shop in Amsterdam. Boy, did we miss out on some snow, huh? Thought we might get some snow earlier in the week. We did not. Maybe a dusting here to come. Let's start on this sad, serious note, though. And generally, we can smile and laugh and make fun of some stuff in the world of sports, but not this. And unfortunately, gun violence, this is not going to turn into a gun debate. Gun violence, unfortunately, taking over the headlines here. More than 1 million people estimated to be at the Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl parade on Wednesday. And this is how it ends. Gunfire. 1 person dead, 22 injured, 8 people in critical condition. Half of the injured under the age of 16, dealing with a lot of kids here, just innocent bystanders, collateral damage to just this stupid act of several people, according to Kansas City police. This was the result of a dispute among several people. 3 people in custody, firearms recovered. And so when we saw the news on Wednesday as it broke, your first thought always is mass shooting. It's just where we are as a country. First thought, mass shooting. Then just even a trickle of detail comes out, and I said this to Ash, you know what? This feels like a fight between people, and they just pulled guns and start shooting at one another. And so then I started to think, okay, what's worse? Somebody who goes to the parade with the intent to hurt people, mass shooting style, or this, where people are so quick to anger and to turn that anger, to think the action has to be to shoot the other person or even just to pull a gun. I don't know. There's not a lot you can say. If that's where we are as a people, to have an argument at a celebratory parade, to turn that into essentially a gunfight here, where you're in close proximity to a bunch of people, right? This is at the end of the parade where they're going to celebrate on a stage and do all those speeches that get played back 1,000 times and guaranteeing another title or whatever, calling this a dynasty, which it is. And that this is how it ends. Look, I get it. The first way is worse. Just the intent to go there to hurt somebody. That wasn't this. But still, to not be able to control emotions to the point where you think, I'm going to shoot this person. that I'm arguing with. I'm having a fight with. I don't know. Sad, really sad. The one person who died, her name is Lisa Lopez Galvin, local radio DJ, mother of two. And again, a number of what we'll call children between the ages of 8 to 47, all those victims in the shooting. The sound from the police chief, angry, sound from the mayor, disappointed. You can be buoyed by the fact that Kansas City is not going to shut down future celebrations because of this, right? And we said all the time, like, hey, you can't let the bad guys win. And again, it's not the same as any, act of terrorism. But the St. Patrick's Day parade in Kansas City is still on. We'll see if that holds. I don't know. All I can do anyway is shake my head at the senseless act of violence here. Again, 3 people in custody, a dispute among several people that turned into gunfire. That's the latest on the Chiefs parade shooting that we have as we bring this to you on a Thursday night. If you're watching on TV over the weekend, Saturday night or Sunday morning, we are live on Thursday nights on News Channel 13's Facebook, YouTube, and X. Comment along, be part of the conversation. We'd love to have you on a Thursday night. If you're already watching us live, we appreciate that. All right, let's take a quick time out here on Onorato and Miller. A little bit of a break. Got a couple of guests to come up on the show. We're going to recap Super Bowl 58. But next, an NBA trade that didn't happen, but it would have been so sweet.
Experience the joy of the slopes and endless winter fun with our pre-President's Day sale, February 12th through the 17th at Albany. Don't miss out on 20 to 50% off store-wide. And make sure you're ready to conquer the mountain with our huge selection of equipment from the industry's top ski and snowboard manufacturers. And find stylish gear that'll keep you warm for all your winter adventures from the apparel brands you love. Hurry in to take 20 to 50% off store-wide, February 12th through the 17th. Get outside and play with Albany.
I don't care what kind of stories that's been told on you. That may be a lot of things in life you used to do. If you can't give true love to me, I'll understand. Just do the best you can.
Michelob Ultra, 2.6 carbs and 95 calories.
And now, back to Onorato and Miller. Sponsored by Albany.
Wasn't a ton of exciting stuff that happened at the NBA trade deadline, but there was this one little nugget that surfaced.
And now, dirty, difficult, and done. Sponsored by Performance Industrial.
Bill and Karen Miller at Performance Industrial, where there is never a job that's too dirty or too difficult for their team to get it done. A segment we do every single week on Onorato and Miller called Dirty, Difficult, Done. The dream of LeBron James and Steph Curry teaming up is unfortunately done. This was fun. I never really even saw it coming, but think back, more than a month ago now, to that epic Saturday night primetime game between the Lakers and the Warriors that went to overtime, where Steph and LeBron just kind of went shot for shot, assist for assist. It was awesome. And then imagine those two players together. What have we always said about LeBron James? You got to surround him with shooting. Imagine LeBron at any point in his career having played with Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. I mean, come on. Even now, on the downside of their careers, LeBron 39, Klay just not the same guy, Curry still phenomenal in so many ways. It would have been a lot of fun to see. But I will say this. LeBron is not a joiner anymore. He did it once with Miami. But after he won in Cleveland as the guy, right? That Miami team was still Dwayne Wade's team. After he won in Cleveland as the architect of the roster, and then obviously the clear number one superstar. I mean, who else was on those teams that really scared you? Didn't have any. I mean, Kevin Love was a good player, but come on. So he did it in Cleveland. Then he went to LA, got Anthony Davis to come from New Orleans. So again, he's the guy, right? He established, this is my team. You come join me. And he got to Golden State, with him the other way around. And LeBron's not going to do that in his career unless it's a matter of playing with his son. So he can be an unrestricted free agent at the end of this year, LeBron. If Bronny gets drafted or ends up somewhere and LeBron wants to sign there for a vet minimum or certainly not a $51 million a year contract like he would get in LA if he opts in, that would be maybe joining a different team. But this would be Steph, Clay, Draymond, Steve Kerr, LeBron James, maybe, not the best player on the planet currently, but boy, he's top 5. Got to be a top 5 player still. And he might rank below all of those names I just listed in terms of Warriors fans, right? These are the guys who have been here, who have won. You are joining our team. And I just don't see LeBron doing that at this stage in his career. But it would have been fun. Would have been a lot of fun. Lakers are ahead of the Warriors too, by the way, in the Western Conference standings. So if you're LeBron, you're probably thinking like, why am I taking a step back? Now, he wouldn't be. There's more reliability with what Golden State has than hoping Anthony Davis makes it to the finish line. Would have been cool. It was a great little something there. Ramona Shelburne, I believe, had a report from ESPN that Golden State tried to get LeBron James. Warriors owner had a conversation with LeBron's agent, Rich Paul, and just didn't go anywhere. But good on the Lakers, good on Jeannie Buss to allow that conversation to happen and trust that you've created an environment that the superstar player you have wants to still be part of. Now, can the Lakers make noise in the postseason? No, not in 7-game series against Denver. I mean, Minnesota's way up there too, but really they don't have it. And Golden State doesn't have it either. Steph Curry said we're basically like a mediocre team right now. So it would have been fun to see the star power joined on either side, right? I mean, talk about Steph getting traded. That wouldn't happen. He's a Warrior for life, but would have been cool to see those two get together on a court together when they're not the opposition. Joe Nardella, the Albany FireWolves, still to come here on the show. We'll also talk with Pete MacArthur, head coach of the Adirondack Thunder. Really cool promotion that the Thunder have going on. Country night on Saturday night. We'll give you a look at the jerseys. Pretty sweet. The sweaters and the pants. Pretty sweet design that they've come up with there. And before we say goodbye on this week's show, we'll talk about Tiger Woods in action at the Genesis Invitational, which is a tournament that he hosts. And Joseph Girard III's success at Clemson, certainly the Tigers look like a tournament team, that's for sure. We're back right after this on Onorato and Miller.
It's our most exciting event of the year. The time has come for our annual Ski Demo Day at Royal Mountain. Get an exclusive look at next year's lineup of skis from your favorite brands. Come to Royal Mountain Ski Area on Thursday, February 22nd for a sneak peek at upcoming releases from the top ski manufacturers before they hit stores. Meet with industry pros and test multiple skis to find the right setup for you. Try before you buy. Ride next year's skis this year at Alpen House Demo Day at Royal Mountain. Alpen House Ski Shop, run by skiers and riders since 1964.
At Marcella's Appliance Center, our commitment is to you, providing essential appliances that families depend on for cooking, refrigeration, cleaning, and sanitation, plus appliance repair. You can have peace of mind that Marcella's is here for you today and every day, like we have been since 1957, helping you make the right choice with trusted brands like Whirlpool, Maytag, KitchenAid, Genair, and many more. Shop Marcella's Appliance Center in-store, online, or by phone. We're here for you.
And now, back to Onorato and Miller. Sponsored by Alpenhaus.
Back on Onorato and Miller, and now inside Alpenhaus's Amsterdam ski shop. Come check this place out if you haven't already. I mean, all of your winter needs, but certainly spring and summer as well. We'll dive into that here in a second. But President's Day weekend is here. There's a pre-President's Day sale happening at Alpenhaus, good through Saturday, 20 to 50% off store-wide. That's worth the trip alone. And then obviously, we usually get into the holiday itself. There are always deals here at Alpenhaus. That includes the top brands, right? So it's not just, stuff that's already discounted. You're getting a greater discount. Top brands and equipment and apparel, all discounted here. So with snow, you're going to get a taste of it Thursday into Friday. Get you back in the mood for winter sports. Alpenhaus is your place to be. You saw the commercial running as well. Demo day is Thursday, February 22nd at Royal Mountain. Exclusive sneak peeks at next year's lineup of skis and snowboards. Never too early, right, to know what's coming out, to get ahead of that. And meet with the pros, right? Get some expert advice on what you should be using and how to use it. And you'll have a chance to try it before you buy it. If you're in the mood already, like Saturday was 60 degrees. If you're in the mood for summer, you know how this stuff goes. If you're thinking about a pool, get your order in now. Do it now. You'll be swimming this season. They certainly stack those appointments up at Alpenhaus in order to get a pool in your ground. So come on by here. Check out the Design Center. Talk with the experts here at Alpenhaus if you want to create that backyard oasis. Our thanks to Katie Osborne and Andy Heck, their support here of the show each and every single week. Nobody does skis, snowboards, pools better than Alpenhaus. Come check them out in Amsterdam, the store in Clifton Park as well. All right, let's do the recap here on the Super Bowl. Everybody's been talking about it. I haven't had my chance to really dive into it now until this show. So here we go. Third title in 5 years. What a game. Overtime, only second overtime Super Bowl in history. Patriots won the other one against the Falcons, of course. This was fun. It was slow, a little bit of a snooze early, but you had turnovers early, the McCaffrey and Pacheco fumbles. So there was some of that at least held your interest, I hope, in the first quarter and the first half overall. But Shanahan loses another 10-point lead here. His playoff record with 10-point leads, not good. Of course, the Super Bowl, which we just mentioned, Patriots-Falcons, he was the offensive coordinator in that game. And so there are questions about his ability to win the big game and hold the lead in the big game. But San Francisco's got to feel pretty good about him being the head coach and Brock Purdy still being rookie contract at the quarterback position. They'll be back, and I'll show you the odds here coming up here in a second for Super Bowl 59 in terms of who Vegas thinks has the best chance to do it. The top two teams won't surprise you, but I have some sleeper picks. Value, as they like to say. Throw down a little on some longer shots. As I looked through the odds, I found a couple of teams that I like to take a shot on. But this is Patrick Mahomes being the next Tom Brady. And by that, I mean 3 Super Bowls now at 28 years old, 3 MVPs. It's not crazy to now have the conversation about whether or not he can catch Brady. Brady's got 7. Okay, it's a lot. I get it. But we were wanting to have this conversation with Mahomes when his first one, just because he was so young. But now he has 3. And after the first, I think we all kind of said, it's tough to win 2. Like, look at the short list of guys who've won 2 Super Bowls. Even shorter list of guys who've won 3. Mahomes only the 5th guy to ever do this. So it's not crazy at 28 to say he could get to 7. My biggest concern would be the head coach. Is Andy Reid going to be around long enough for Mahomes to win 7? Can he do it with another coach? Saw Brady do it with another coach. Probably shouldn't question whether or not Mahomes could do it. And as you know, I picked the 49ers to win last week. And I'm learning my lesson slowly. And this happened with me and Brady all the time. I would look at what New England was doing, how they were playing. I would look at the roster, and I'd say, not talented enough, not going to beat that team. They're struggling this year. And all of those signs were the same for Kansas City this year. Receiving core. Rashee Rice, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, Kadarius Toney can't even get on the field. Mecole Hardman cut by the Jets. Like, is this really a Super Bowl? Obviously, yes. And it all starts with number 15. So I was burned many times picking against Tom Brady. Burned last week picking against Patrick Mahomes. Can't say I'll never do it again, because what fun would that be? Right? Still try to find the edge betting against Mahomes. But there was no point in the playoffs, the AFC side of things, where I felt like Mahomes is going to lose. Kansas City always felt like the better team. But San Francisco is more talented. And I guess that then comes back to the coaching. They fire Steve Wilks, the defensive coordinator, only because I'm sure Kyle Shanahan felt like we have to do something. There has to be an explanation for why we didn't win. And we're going to blame, if you will, the defensive coordinator. Not Wilks' fault. The defense was better this year than it was last year. So certainly not Steve Wilks' fault. But he becomes kind of the quote-unquote fall guy, if you will. How many people were losing their minds over Taylor Swift's screen time? Here it is. I'm sure you've seen it already. But only 54 seconds of airtime during the Super Bowl. I don't know. The people who get upset with cutaway shots on the network of Taylor Swift celebrating or just hanging out in the suite, like, who cares? Like, big deal. There's a lot of downtime in between plays in football. Show the crowd. Show the celebrities. Go for it. She's the biggest celebrity on the planet. If, Paul Rudd was the only guy at the Chiefs game on a given Sunday, they'd probably find him as well. So I have never had a problem with this. I think it's fun. I'm a big storyline guy. You know that. I root for good storylines. This was a great storyline all year long. Here we go. Let's look ahead, because you can only look back for so long. Here we go. Super Bowl 59. What do you like here? Niners and Chiefs at the top. Ravens, I can't buy in. Super talented, maybe healthy next year at the running back position, but Gus Edwards was there all year long, and he's really, really good. Bills and Lions. Anybody want to take a shot at that? 12-1, not me. Got to see what the Bills do this offseason. A lot of question marks. Stephon Diggs going to be there next year. Joe Brady has shown he will run the ball. This team can run the ball. I don't know that you need a high-priced and at times problematic wide receiver like Stephon Diggs. My guess is he's not in Buffalo next season. They'll have to figure things out for Josh Allen then. I am big on Detroit regressing. I'm gonna be that guy. I know they're good. I think it's a step back for Detroit next year. So I don't like them. Cowboys, Bengals, 15-1. Cincinnati, you know what, honestly, beyond San Fran and Kansas City, who are just the shoo-ins here, Cincinnati would be next for me. But I really like these two sleepers. Really like the Rams at 30-1. Look at the way they played when Stafford was healthy this year. It's a really good football team. Really good football team. Certainly could have won Wild Card Weekend in Detroit, and maybe should have won. And the Texans, again, quarterback on a rookie contract. Division that is certainly winnable. I'm not going to call it easy, because I think Indy and Jacksonville are pretty good teams, or will be anyway. So it's not an easy division to win, but I like them to win that division. And that's the road, right? Like, you would say to me, hey, but the Rams aren't going to win the division because the 49ers are in there. So it makes the road more difficult. I get that 100%. So you look at the Texans then. If Tank Dell were healthy, would we have liked Houston to go deeper in the playoffs? Maybe. And again, that rookie contract for a quarterback, cannot overstate that. Houston could do some things this offseason. That's 25-1, 30-1. Two interesting shots. I like those two quite a bit. All right, lots to still go on the show here. Boy, we are loaded up with guests. We've got Joe Nardella, Albany FireWolves face-off man, plays some defense for them as well. One of the best face-off guys in the entire National Lacrosse League. FireWolves are back home this weekend. You can catch the game on My 4 if you aren't going, but certainly check them out in person against Colorado at MVP Arena, 7 o'clock Saturday night. And we've got the incredible Adirondack Thunder this year. What a season they are having. They've got country night on Saturday. Wait until you see the jerseys that have been designed for this. We'll talk with the head coach, Pete MacArthur. It's all still coming up here on Onorato and Miller. Back right after this with Joe Nardella.
The great thing about novices, no matter who you are, they're going to put all the detail in the world into your brand. I feel like they have been a big part of my success, making me feel comfortable. This is Harrison Butker, Super Bowl champion kicker for the Kansas City Chiefs. Claim your crown.
I don't care what kind of stories that's been told on you. That may be a lot of things in life you used to do. If you can't give true love to me, I'll understand. Just do the best you can.
Michelob Ultra, 2.6 carbs and 95 calories.
And now, back to Onorato and Miller. Sponsored by Alpen House.
Back on Onorato and Miller from Alpen House in Amsterdam. Of course, Andy Heck and Katie Osborne, partners of the show. Can't thank them enough for their support now going on 3 years here doing this show. Love being out in Amsterdam. And yeah, you know what? Katie Osborne was telling me there may not be snow like right on the ground in your backyard, depending where you live, but it's on the mountains. You can ski. And of course, there's no place better than Alpen House to get everything you need for your winter activities, including skiing, snowboarding, and all that good stuff. It is out there. You can do it. Here's one guy who probably, I would imagine there's contractual stuff that says he can't be on skis. And maybe after the injuries, he wouldn't even want to be on skis. Let's bring in Joe Nardella here from the Albany FireWolves. Joe, man, it's good to see you. Thanks for doing the show, dude. It was good to catch up with you before the game, the last home game you guys had. How do you feel having lost 2 in a row, little slide, but being back home this Saturday night now against Colorado? Where is this team mentally knowing, hey, it's still in front of us?
Yeah, I think, if you were to say before the start of the season, after 8 games, we'd be 6-2. I think everyone, including the fans and the players and the coaches, would all be pretty happy with that. Obviously, we wish we were 8-0, but I think this kind of provides some good feedback on things we got to improve on, and just we're pretty fresh right now. We've had 2 of the last 3 weeks off. We're playing a Colorado team who's been in the finals the past 2 years, so a great challenge. And for whatever reason, I think this group rises up and plays some of these top teams as tough as anybody in the league. So I'm excited for what's on deck this weekend.
Talked to Coach about that earlier in the week, and he kind of said that too. Like, it's weird. We've dipped back when people probably thought we wouldn't, and so maybe it is and Colorado's a team, I'm sure you follow this the last couple of years, like they get hot as the season goes. So it feels like a game that could kind of go either way. And honestly, Joe, I don't know. It feels like that's this league every week.
Yeah, if you look at the standings, it's pretty jammed up between 2 and 6 wins. Even the teams down with 2 wins are still in contention, and the guys with 6 or 5 wins aren't safe. So I think every week you got to earn it. The league's tough. There's a ton of parity and great players across the board on every team. So I think Colorado poses no different of a challenge than every other team week in and week out. We're going to expect their best, and we're looking to get a big win at home.
The ACL injury last year was not your first major injury, but you missed most of the NLL season and then all the PLL season. How much did you miss it?
It really makes you appreciate just being able to go out and practice, being able to work out throughout the week and prepare for something. I did miss it a lot. It's been a big part of my life for the last 8 years, and it's something that I have a lot of fun doing and enjoy being around the group. And that's probably the toughest part about it, is having to really dial in and just do your work on your own and know that you have something to get back to and something to chase to get back on the field. And that's kind of what motivated me to stay the course.
I find this so interesting. The clinics you do, the academy you have It's called Face Off Factory. But what interests me most about it, Joe, I think, is that you're one of the best in the sport to do it. And so no one would blame you for keeping all the secrets to yourself. But here you are sharing them with not just people younger than you, not at a professional level yet, but even guys who are traveling the country with you, who are pros, who you're going to face at some point. Why do you do that? Why don't you just kind of play it close to the vest?
I think like we're all here for a bigger purpose, and that's serving the game and paying it forward. And there are a lot of great pros who taught me tricks and tips and things that helped me get to this level. And I think like we owe it to the game to give back to the next generation. I think that's how lacrosse is going to become one of these sports that you see on TV, every week. And I hope that's the case someday. I hope these kids growing up like aspire to be NLL or PLL pros in their own right. And I think the only way to help them get there is to guide them and show them the way.
Is there anything you've kept from like a Trevor or a TD? Like, hey, I'll show you some of this, but I'm not going to give you my best.
I think everybody's kind of got their own little tips and tricks in terms of like strategizing and in-game adjustments. And I think that's really where it comes down to the athlete, your experience, and then just like how many face-offs you've seen and like what you can do to adapt and adjust. And it's nuanced. It's very intricate, game in and game out. Every guy's different. But I think, the more film you watch, the more face-offs you do, like the better you get at figuring things out on the fly and knowing like, if I do this a little different, I might have more success.
When this franchise moved to Albany 3 years ago, or 4 years ago now almost, we heard people who were new to box lacrosse heard, the face-off isn't that important because it's a quick shot clock. It's a fast-moving game. We're going to get possessions anyway. I don't know. I look at last year and this year with you being healthy and the way the offense has been this season compared to last, and it sure feels like there's a difference. Tell me, I believe there is a difference. Tell me why that way of thinking that it's not that big of a deal is wrong.
I think like different coaches have different philosophies and theories about all this stuff. I think it can hurt the team if you have a draw guy who's not winning and not playing defense, right, and contributing in other areas on the field. So I think like one, you got to be a complete player if you're going to be a face-off guy that adds value to your team. But I think you see it with us. There's games where we go on runs and we get momentum and we might win a couple in a row, and then games where teams who win a couple in a row get momentum. It's also a great way to close teams out at the end of games and limit their possessions, as well as just strengthen your chances of coming back in games where, maybe you're behind a little bit. So I think like all those things kind of play a factor. And I was actually watching some film on Colorado's game last week, and they had like the top 4 faceoff guys, and all their teams are in the top 5 in terms of standings now. So I don't know if, I'm not going to say there's a direct correlation to that because that's pretty astounding. But I do think it definitely plays a factor. And like for our team, I know like defensively, when we're winning faceoffs, we're a lot more fresh and we can chase guys around and play the aggressive style that we want.
This league intrigues me too, Joe, because so many of the players are remote. And I would imagine it's difficult for a coach because they would love the consistency of like being in meetings face-to-face with their players every week or every day and being in the weight room with them every day and all that. So there's a level of accountability here that's unique with this league because you're telling me you're remote. Hey, I'm just watching the Colorado game. I mean, there's nobody on your back to make sure you're doing the work. You've got to be accountable to yourself, right?
Yeah. And I think like it's all about surrounding yourself with like a good routine and the right people. The place that I train at, I'm there 3-4 days a week. And like, if I'm not there at the time I say I'm going to be, like I'm getting texts and I'm feeling bad about it. Right. Yep. So I think it's really about the environment you put yourself in and then just staying consistent with preparation. But like, you got to know if you're not putting in the work, you're not going to be playing for very long. And I think the competitiveness in our league and all the up and coming young stars that are chomping at the bit to get a chance to play on the field, like you got to remember there's always people chasing you.
Give me something you do. I say weight room, but you know what I mean, in a workout class, in a workout setting. Give me something you do as a face-off guy that I'm not going to catch maybe just your average athlete doing.
Yeah, they make me do a ton of grip stuff where I'm holding weights, and whether it's marching, I have to do sled pushes and pulls. I got to do a lot of stuff in bear crawl position. Other things I do, like yesterday we played speed lacrosse for conditioning, which is like 3-on-3 with tennis balls and little nets, right? So you get to work on, some of the transition stuff that we actually see in games and playing a little goalie even. So all those things I think play a big role. And, the biggest thing for me that I get to do is like coaching 4 nights a week. I'm going against a lot of my kids and challenging them and trying out new things and working on my craft as well, kind of sneakily,
You said you play a little bit of goal. Could you give Blaze a run for his money?
No, I don't think so. I'm not quite there yet. I'm pretty good inside, but when the shots come from a little further out, I struggle to see it sometimes.
I mean, it's super two-way in this sport.
Yeah,
That's okay. All right, Joe, what about this Colorado team presents a challenge that you've seen on tape?
I think they're strong on both sides of their offense. Their lefties are very experienced. They all have championship experience. Their righties are really gelling together. They got Connor Kelly, Zed Williams, and Gibson, and those three are playing really well. I think we're going to have to play aggressive. We're going to have to be on their hands. We're going to have to communicate really effectively to keep them away from the net. And hopefully, whether it's Dougie or Getty in there, we're giving them shots they want to see, and we're getting up and out the other way. And I think defensively, like, they play a very unique style where they have a goaltender who challenges shots and plays a high arc, and Dylan Ward, and he's one of the best. And their D does a really good job of playing a style that like fits the shots he wants to see. So we're going to have to make sure we're moving the ball and everybody's getting to those dirty areas of the floor where we can score goals.
Love it. Good luck, man. Let's snap this slide. Let's get the people in the stands for this one back home. After a bye week, it's been very inconsistent, this schedule. Clarkie's like, I don't love this. How about from a player perspective? Do you enjoy that week off just to get the body back?
Yeah, I mean, 1 week is great. 2 out of 3 weeks is a little bit much. I guess we played pretty consistent through December and January. So I guess we were due, and I think we have a pretty good haul here in February and March. And then towards the end of March, we have a bye, and I think at the end of April, we have a bye. So I'd say, like, it worked out. It's spaced out. For the most part, we have about 1 weekend off a month, and I think that's all you could ask for. You get one rest weekend and then full steam ahead on the others.
Cool. All right, Joe, good luck, man. You see it on the screen right there. Best way to find everything this guy is doing in the world of lacrosse at Joe Nards, 2 S's on Instagram. Joe, go check him out. Joe, thank you, man.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me. I'll see you this weekend.
Experience the joy of the slopes and endless winter fun with our pre-President's Day sale February 12th through the 17th at Albany House. Don't miss out on 20 to 50% off store-wide. And make sure you're ready to conquer the mountain with our huge selection of equipment from the industry's top ski and snowboard manufacturers. And find stylish gear that'll keep you warm for all your winter adventures from the apparel brands you love. Hurry in to take 20 to 50% off store-wide February 12th through the 17th. Get outside and play with Albany House.
Teams. Athletes, organizations. We're transforming the custom apparel industry through product and purpose. Claim your crown.
And now, back to Onorato and Miller. Sponsored by Albany House.
Back on Onorato and Miller, and joined by the head coach of the Adirondack Thunder, first place. Hello, thank you very much. Adirondack Thunder in the Eastern Conference. Second overall in the league, Pete MacArthur. Man, it's good having you on the show. Thanks for doing this. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me again.
So, the last time we talked was beginning of the year. I hope I'm not throwing off any mojo here you guys have going, but you're in a better physical shape than when we last spoke. At 66 points, man, as a team. I think you guys had 75 as a squad last year. I mean, way ahead of what you guys were able to do, and you even made the playoffs last year. This is an impossible question, but I'll ask it anyway. Can you put your finger on one aspect as to why you guys have been so good this year?
Buy-in. Just easier getting the guys on the same page. It seems like everybody in there understands that it works when everybody just focuses on their job, and we got better buy-in. That's the biggest difference.
I love that. Is that an aha moment as a coach? When do you realize I've got the room now?
I think it was just maybe a couple months into the first year last year, like after Christmas time, New Year, when we kind of understood what it took to win games, and that we're going to need to do this the same exact way, no matter how painful it can be at times. We got to do it this way. This is what makes us successful. And once we got that blueprint down where we could plug guys in and out and win 3-2 or win 6-1, then you start to get that belief. And we kind of started that way this year. It took us a couple games to figure it out, but the first 3 wins we had, they were all in different fashion: shootout, overtime, and then just a regular 3-period win. And there were different types of scores: high scoring, low scoring. We had a game where we beat Florida 1-0. So we've kind of gone through a lot of different experiences early in the year, and that's continued on. And we play the same way: fast, physical, team choice hockey. It's fun to be a part of it so far.
All right, the way you're describing it leads me to one note I made, because I'm looking at just player stats, and I'm scrolling, and I'm like, where's the first Thunder guy I hit? Where's the first Thunder guy I hit? But you have 5 guys with at least 30 points. So they may not be 50-plus point guys at this point in the season, like some other teams might have. But you've got a collection of guys who are all contributing. I mean, I don't know if you pay attention to that stuff, but when you hear it, what does that tell you?
Team. That's what I was taught my whole life. I can vividly remember my father always telling me it's this more so than this back here. And we have a group of guys that get that. We got Shane Harper, and he's probably the best offensive player in the league. He's right at a point a game. He'll end up with 60 or 70 points when it's all said and done, and he's a game changer that you need. But it makes us hard to play against. It doesn't matter who's in the lineup. It's Ashbrook or Gillespie or Josefek or Broman or Smith or Grasso or Middendorf, Ibrahimov, Hirano, Marcinkiewicz. They're all these guys can score. And then on the back end as well, we've got some guys that are capable of moving the puck and moving themselves when they play with confidence. So I always wanted to have guys around me where when you're playing, like if I don't have my best game, who's going to pick up the slack, and we have a room full of guys like that. And I think it's comforting for them to know that if they just work hard, we're going to be having an opportunity to be in games.
You mentioned Grasso's name. He leads you in goals, but let's talk about Harper. I mean, when does this guy slow down? Like, what would it take for this guy to ever slow down?
Just stop and playing. Especially at this level, I think that he has that type of confidence in himself that filters through our team, but he just understands how to be successful. He knows what he is. He gets a little bit of a longer rope because he is the kind of guy that can not be having a good game and then pop off in the third period for 3 points. And you're like, okay, no, that's who you are, right? So I think the only thing that slows him down is when he stops and hangs up his skates for good. And it seems like that'll be after this season. So I think he's really enjoying it right now. He's playing the right way. He's playing hard and showing up at the right times for us. So it's definitely a joy.
2 home games this weekend, Friday, Saturday night. Saturday night's a really cool promotion. Country night. I saw the sweaters. It looks like a literal flannel sweater, if you would. These are wild, man. It's almost like Oregon has been able to recruit just based off uniform variations. How much do the players get into this type of stuff?
I think they get into it. I think it helps them relax and think about something other than the forecheck or the D-zone coverage. They can talk about their jerseys. And sometimes these specialty ones, especially at the minor leagues, they don't fit great. So, if you get one that's too big, you feel like you're flying around with a damn cape on. But I think those ones are neat. Rob Lapolis, he does the radio for us, and among a lot of other things that he takes care of, he's awesome at his job, and we're lucky to have him. But he designs a lot of these jerseys, so I think these ones are pretty neat. They're unique. They're different. I think it's going to be awesome for the people to see those jerseys, and it fits well within our community, right? We're old school in Adirondack. I wouldn't have it any other way. So it'll be exciting to see those guys, and hopefully we come out with a lot of energy.
Would you rather have the jersey too tight or too small? Too small or too big?
too small for me. I always wanted I don't want my gear to move. I think most guys would probably say the same thing. You know, you get, especially in the sleeves, if the sleeves are too loose and they're getting into your hands and you can't, you know, you're trying to make a play and your hands are all screwed up. It's just a nightmare. So, you know, hey, we deal with it. Beggars can't be choosers, but you know, it's funny.
But if you rip a slapper, man, you're liable to rip right underneath your arm, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I mean, tight is not necessarily good either, too tight, but you got to find that happy medium. So you want to be able to move out there, but you also don't want some extra garments getting in the way.
Can't slow you down. That's, again, Saturday night, country night, February 17th, home on the 16th as well, and then home the following weekend too. So a little home ice momentum here when it comes to the weekends. One of your goalies has been getting a lot of love too, just because the last name is so recognizable, but Jeremy Brodeur is playing pretty darn well this year too, right, Coach? I mean, he's a second or third in goals against average in terms of qualifying goaltenders this year. He's got a save percentage near .930. What do you see out of him?
Confidence, great rapport with his teammates and his other goaltenders, who he's the veteran of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just a guy that's taking advantage of the opportunity. It's a little bit different because we are kind of trying to spread out the starts with them. You know, once Brennan got healthy, they basically just been going 1-2-3, 1-2-3, regardless of really how they're playing. It's how we're handling it with, you know, Brennan's a young guy, so he needs to get in there. But Jeremy, as an older guy, you could be sour grapes in a situation like that where you think especially how he's played this year, but it's working well. They all get to stay fresh. It keeps them motivated. They seem to enjoy when one another does well. And I think that comes from the top down, and him being the leader, the guy who's played 7 or 8 years of pro hockey, a couple different leagues in North America. He played in the English League. He's been on several different teams. He's been on the East. He's been on the West. He's been in the North. He's been in the South. So he's got a lot of experience to draw on. And it's come together nicely for him this year. So hopefully he can keep rolling here, leading our group with his competitive nature. It's different the way that he competes. Like, he really keeps it loose, but there's a competitor in there. Like, he doesn't want pucks going in his nets. I'm sure he wants to start every game, but he's been fun to be around. You know, I had the chance to play with him when he was a rookie, and then again in 3 ice we played against each other in the summertime. So we had a bit of a relationship going into the season, and he's been a joy to work with.
How did you used to beat him?
I never did.
What was his weak spot that you found?
So let me tell you, this is Broads, okay? And I don't know if he'll see this or not, but it's fine. I'll say it to him. When you go down and look at Broads, sometimes it's like looking at a dang street hockey goalie. And you're like, why is he standing like that? Why does he look like he doesn't care about what's happening? But he's really knows the game. This guy will rotate on penalty kill situations and just be standing there before the pass is made because he reads the game so well. So he just baits you, tries to look like a goofball. Sometimes he looks like he's just a capital A standing there, but he makes saves because he reads the game well. He lets the puck hit him, and then he gobbles up his rebounds. So he's a fun guy to have around, and we're lucky to have him.
I love that. Last thing, I'll let you get out of here. You already mentioned that Rob has a hand, and maybe is the person behind some of these jersey designs. I don't know who's in charge of in-arena music, but would we expect a full country theme? Now, look, I know when you're in a huddle and you're drawing up plays, you're probably not paying attention to what music's playing. But just on, when the whistle blows and everybody's kind of just floating around a little bit, I would have to imagine you're taking note of what songs you recognize and don't recognize. We're going to get all country on Saturday night, you think? Have to, right?
I would imagine it's heavy country. We'll have to see. Victoria Beagle, she handles our music, so I'll ask her tomorrow. But to your point, it does make a difference.
Yeah,
you can, especially when you're on the road, you recognize the music here is not so great. It does make a difference to feel the energy in the arena, and I think they always do a great job at our rink, entertaining the fans, but also keeping the guys jacked up, because it's a tough game. They're out there for, what do they play, 20 minutes out of the 60, and it's high intensity. You need something to get you going, maybe to distract you at times, which is totally fine by me because I needed that as a player. So we'll see. I'm sure maybe we'll have some Toby Keith, a little bit of Toby Keith for to remember him. I'm sure
Love
that little memorial will happen. But yeah, we're looking forward to a good night. Hopefully it's sold out. I don't think it won't be at this point. I think that there won't be many empty seats there, and hopefully we can play well enough and get some free fries again.
Dude, nobody would ever wish a down season for the Thunder. But it doesn't, I mean, it almost doesn't matter how many games you guys win. That town shows up every home game. The $3 Labatt Blues and $4 Bud Lights may not hurt either. But, it's always good hockey to see. Hey, good luck this weekend, Coach. Congrats on all the, I'll say, early success, because I know the plans are obviously bigger than the regular season. So congrats, good luck, and let's do this again before too long.
That sounds like a plan. Thank you for the support. And yeah, hopefully we're playing hockey for a long time here. We're going to do our best.
I don't care what kind of stories that's been told on you. That may be a lot of things in life you used to do. If you can't give true love to me, I'll understand. Just do the best you can.
Michelob Ultra, 2.6 carbs and 95 calories.
At Marcella's Appliance Center, our commitment is to you, providing essential appliances that families depend on for cooking, refrigeration, cleaning, and sanitation, plus appliance repair. You can have peace of mind that Marcella's is here for you today and every day, like we have been since 1957, helping you make the right choice with trusted brands like Whirlpool, Maytag, KitchenAid, Genair, and many more. Shop Marcella's Appliance Center in-store, online, or by phone. We're here for you.
And now, back to Onorato and Miller. Sponsored by Albany House.
All right, no more football. I know. We'll get into what are they calling the new merge league? I don't know. I'm not watching spring football. It's just not going to happen for me. Okay, I love to just grossly consume it in the fall and winter. But after the Super Bowl, I am ready to turn the page to some college hoops and NBA and NHL. Okay, Jack Hughes back healthy with the Devils. And then baseball. Like, baseball's already on my brain. Pitchers and catchers have reported. We had a 60-degree Saturday here in the capital region. Like, I'm ready to get into March Madness, the push for that, and then baseball season. I'm ready for that. So sad that football is gone for now, but it'll be back before you know it. And it's always a talking point. Let's face it. We'll be talking about the draft in no time. How about this for the Tiger effect? He's on the course at the Genesis Invitational tournament that he hosts, and betting is up at sportsbooks. Not only are people wagering on Tiger, they are just betting in general on this tournament. Yours truly included. My bet on Justin Thomas to finish top 5, not looking good after round 1. So I'll be strike 1 right out of the gate, the PGA Tour season. But Tiger at 125 to 1 when this thing teed off. Talk about value. Is he going to win this thing? No. But fun little bet to make. It's the longest odds Tiger Woods has had in a tournament on the PGA Tour in the last 15 years. He was 100 to 1 15 years ago or so. And now 125 to 1 at his own tournament. But this is the Tiger effect. It's funny. Used to always measure Tiger's effect in, TV ratings, purses, just even attendance on the course. This is the next metric, betting. This is the metric now that so many professional sports leagues, organizations are judging viewership, attention, the bets that are placed. It's just where we are. People are interested, likely to put a bet on it. They might watch it. That's the difference, is there are a lot of people out there who will place a bet and not watch a single second of this tournament. But they'll check just to see the leaderboard, where Tiger is or where Justin Thomas is. I know our guy Sam is going to be watching this for sure. Tiger on the course. Good stuff there. How about Joseph Girard III and what he did in a 2-game stretch? Winning at at the time, number 3 North Carolina, and then his return to Syracuse. Averaged 19.5 points per game, 5 rebounds, 2.5 assists, and that adds up to ACC Player of the Week for the grad student from Glens Falls. And Clemson then beat Miami handily at home by 17. So this is clearly not yet ranked, but clearly an NCAA tournament team right now. And they should have been an NCAA tournament team last year, but add Girard with a guy like PJ Hall, it's a pretty good team. And the ACC, in Joe Lunardi's eyes, who does all the bracketology for ESPN, the ACC is down because I think he only has like 3 or 4 teams going. Remember the days where they'd put in 7 or 8? Not this year, it doesn't appear. But I think you can include Clemson in that group unless something really starts to fall apart. Now, after Clemson went to the Dome and beat Syracuse, the Orange brought in North Carolina. They beat them too. So Carolina's had a tough little stretch here, losing to Clemson and then Syracuse. But a good win for Cuse. One they needed. Is Syracuse a tournament team? No, they are not. But that's a nice win to hang your hat on for the first year under Adrian Autry. Not bad. Not bad at all. All right, so we've had some time to think about it. What do we like in Super Bowl 59? I gave you my sleeper picks of the Rams and the Texans, just for value. 25-1 Houston, 30-1 LA. Chargers are also 30-1 if you want to jump on the Harbaugh bandwagon with Justin Herbert. I'm not quite there on it yet. They need to get some roster and cap situations figured out before any of that happens. But those were my sleepers. So shoot them in the comments who you think is going to win Super Bowl 59. Not going to be my Packers, but I told you I think the Lions take a little bit of a step back. I do think that's going to happen. Yeah. Some good stuff to look forward to next week. Going to do an interview with one of the members of Black Violin. Check out this duo, hip-hop duo coming to the Palace Theater in Albany. We're going to talk with Will Baptiste next week on the show. So that'll be a fun conversation for sure. And if you check them out on YouTube, some of the stuff they do is incredible. Really, really cool. Definitely a ticket you want to get to see them at the Palace Theater. So we'll do that with Black Violin next week. Albany FireWolves at home this weekend, Adirondack Thunder as well. Of course, we've got the FireWolves for you on My 4, right where you see this show on Saturday nights, taking you right in to that face-off between the FireWolves and the Colorado Mammoth. Thanks for hanging out this week, everybody. Have a great weekend. We will see you next week on Onorato and Miller.